It's quiet. Should have put on music or something. Oh boy. Coaster cutouts. Forgot how quirky these can be. Alright, if you're just tuning in, happy leap year. I'm putting together this guy here, the coaster cutout of Ghost Rider. It's just at Knott's not too long ago. So we're going to be diving into this thing during the conversation. But we're going to give everybody a few minutes here to come on in. Hey Kim, what's going on? Starlit, lil bro. Oh, what's going on? I'm going to be putting this together, but please, by all means, please tell me what you're looking forward to this season, because unlike Orlando and a lot of people in California, we do not get the benefit of having year-round operations. You know, we have these 2-3 months where we're just kind of dreaming about going somewhere and riding something. Normally, I would go down to Orlando to do stuff. I did go to California to do a few things, but it's not the same as like going every weekend and all that. But there was a lot of stuff happening this week, isn't there? It's been an eventful leap week, leap year. Hello, Vanta. What's going on? How's everybody doing? What's happening here? Oh, here's the base. I'm putting together a coaster cutout in case you haven't seen. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I don't like that I can't set the exposure with my phone to be able to, like, everything's just a little bit brighter than it should be. It's supposed to be like a nice cozy vibe, and I've been putting that in my other videos where I'm doing like talking head videos. I am thinking about making some other types of content, maybe like little photography ones. I'm messing around with that a little bit just because that is a big part of my like creative endeavors. And then the other thing I've been considering is like little coaster tidbits, like quick 5-minute videos or something like that. Oh, thank you so much. So speaking of coaster tidbits, what's up with the changes to Intimidator? I guess Cedar Fair didn't renew the I'll come back to that, Kim. I just want to finish this thought, is that apparently Cedar Fair, who owns King's Dominion and Carowinds, they both had roller coasters that were using the name of, I think it's Dale Earnhardt, the NASCAR driver. And both of those roller coasters, they were named Intimidator after him. One was Intimidator, the other one was Intimidator 305. And they didn't renew the rights contract or whatever that is. And so now they're being renamed. I think Intimidator at Carowinds just did a straight rename. Nothing too exciting. I forget what it's called now. It's something Striker. Something generic that I don't remember it. And then over at King's Dominion, they haven't fully renamed it or even told us what they're doing with it. But this is like, the Intimidator 305 was like a large coaster. Like, that's probably one of my most viewed coasters. It's just one of those that's infamous by name alone. Everybody talks about graying out on it and how intense it is, or just straight up blacking out for like half a minute on that thing. But now if you go on their website, it's called Project 305, and I'm wondering what they're trying to tease, because they did re-theme a lot of that area just before it into the Jungle Expedition, which looks really cool. Yeah, if you go on their website, Vanta, you'll see that they were referring to it as Project 305, and there's some details in the description of that roller coaster about kind of like teasing, not really telling us anything, but just teasing about what could be coming. And I think that, and hopefully they just start re-theming that whole area kind of little by little into like the Jungle Expedition thing. because not just that roller coaster getting a retheme, there's, I think, a winged roller coaster coming to that area as well in replacement of where Volcano was. So there's a whole lot coming to that area, and I'm assuming that it's all going to be Jungle Expedition because there's just not enough space in that park to make like a secondary themed area. And honestly, I wouldn't mind it if that whole area were Jungle Expedition. Why isn't this going in? Oh, there goes one. There goes two. Oh my gosh, what? I didn't eat a big enough dinner? What happened? I feel like I'm just straight up breaking this. Anyway, hello and good evening. I'm not sure how to say your name. Doubles03? Doubles Chicago? We're going to call you Chicago. Going back to the photography, one thing that I struggle with, and I think it's something that a lot of other YouTubers aren't sure of, is like, where do you start and like how difficult to understand the content is it? Like, you have to make an assumption about the audience, you know? I'm trying to build this guy, the coaster cutout for Ghost Rider, right here. So if you saw my channel, I just posted a vlog from Knott's. And Ghost Rider unfortunately was closed, but I had it in my mind to get this and put it together. So now, these instructions are something else. They don't really tell you much. It's just drawings here. I thought there would be like letters or something to kind of help you out. Not the case. Not the case. Yeah, this is going to be a more challenging one than I've done before. But yeah, I don't know what assumption to make on what amount of information I can share. Because do you have to explain f-stop every time so everybody can understand? Or do you have to explain shutter speed? I feel like maybe I should just start at the beginning and like explain, you know, this is exposure. Here's the exposure triangle, and you have, you know, aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, and here's how they interact. And then just with that out of the way, I can assume that if there's that information, if you need it, we're going to just carry on and assume that you know the basics, and then just move forward with, you know, being able to kind of delve into more detailed stuff, a little more complex stuff. I'm not sure. That's one of the mistakes I made when I was doing the kind of grungy alien stuff that I did with the cryptic photo, is that I tried explaining a lot from the perspective of somebody who's trying to do it on their phone, which is cool too, but maybe that shouldn't have been the way I did it. I'm not sure, but that's one of the things that's hard to do. Anyway, other news. I saw that they made an announcement, they being Universal, that the DreamWorks land is official. We got some renderings. I saw some kids in the background that looked like they might have been AI generated because they looked a little off. But in general, I'm pretty stoked for that area to get like a new identity. Because honestly, when I was there as a kid in the 90s, I remember Fievel was relevant and at the time. And then 30 years later, I see that Fievel is still there. And I'm like, what kids know Fievel anymore? Oh, also, Wawa. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. They'll have, what's that? ADA law and service dogs. What's going on with that, if you don't mind? I haven't heard about this. All I know is that we have some more information and that it's coming out in the summer. What I don't know about, what I haven't heard about, is how that's going to affect, because I go to Horror Nights every year. I don't know how that's going to affect that whole shuffle, because that area was used as like a pass-through for getting to the houses that were backstage. And a lot of times you walk through that Curious George area in order to get over there. And I've also heard that the parade building is under heavy maintenance, and so the solution seems to be adding more tents all the way in the back, further than the other locations that were already in existence up behind Men in Black. So it looks like you're gonna have to be walking like, I don't know how long, like 10 minutes just to get out that way. And I don't know. I don't know. It seems pretty crazy to me. Like, there's already some pretty long walks for some of that stuff. So yeah, that's not something I'm looking forward to dealing with this year. All right. I'm trying to, oh gosh. I'm missing a whole piece. Okay, what are you? What are you? This doesn't make any sense. Is it like this? No. I think I have the wrong piece. Hold on. I'm on the struggle bus a little bit. We're gonna get this. It's gonna be okay. Something with the virus and stuff, knowing something with service dogs and dealing with that issue, like if someone like with disabilities needs them. I mean, I know for sure the new disability, what do they call it? The Attraction Assistance Pass, which is something I do want to make a video about and guiding people through, because I had a very frustrating time doing their new system. They updated that like sometime in the middle of last year. That was rough. That was super rough. That's the one where you have to use this outside company and get them a letter from your healthcare provider, and trying to explain to them what that system was really, really strange. But eventually I got the letter, and once you get through the system and like get everything settled and get like your case number and all that, and have not an interview, but a conversation over the phone with Universal, then you're super okay. This with the service dogs, though, is new to me, and I'm going to have to look that up because, yeah, I've been trying, and this year maybe will be when I focus on making content about that, because I had open heart surgery a few years ago, so I have concerns always about waiting in line because of circulation issues that resulted from the surgery. So I do and am able to use a lot of the different disability programs that are at these parks, and some sort of guide or review or testing out of the different parks that I go to, like what is their solution for this, might not be a bad idea to make videos about, because my gosh, there's a lot of different solutions, especially with roller coasters that have like elevators and stuff, and like just there's some stuff that you can't even go on if you're, you know, wheelchair bound or in ECVs or like low mobility. Even though you could probably be physically fine to ride, they don't have much about getting you to the station or the loading zone. Let's see, you heard from someone's channel about it, and you're getting a service dog for your hearing. Interesting. Okay, I gotta look into that. But thank you so much for making me aware that that's even a thing, because, you know, it's hard sometimes to get this information. Like, speaking of like, or going back to the Attraction Assistance Pass that Universal has, it is not super descriptive on their website, like the steps that you need to take. They just redirect you over and then expect you to just interpret that stuff. And it doesn't really tell you how the two systems relate. You just have to go to figure it out on your own, basically. It didn't feel like there was too much guidance on how to do that. So, yeah. I hope, for your sake, that everything goes as smoothly as it can, but are you going to be going to Universal soon? And that's why you're looking into this? Or is that something that you just happen to come across? Let's see, what do I think of Skyrush's new restraints? Can you confirm with me or not, is the restraint the same one as Velocicoaster, so just the lap bar with the two little handles? And is it just the restraint? Because the seats aren't like Velocicoasters, so even if they add a lap bar, a new lap bar like that, the seats, the trains and all that stuff are arranged differently, and if I remember right, they're pitched pretty high up, so like your booty's down here and so you're sitting way further back and differently than you would be on Velocicoaster. Or what else has a similar restraint? I think Pantheon, but Pantheon's might be a little less forgiving if I remember right. There was a lot of people when I went to go on Pantheon, there was a lot of people taking that walk of shame, unfortunately. It was like really, really unforgiving for some reason. Way more so than others that I've seen. I think less it was more less forgiving than even Velocicoaster. These wood things, like you want to, all this stuff is held by just like these little wood things, and that's it. Okay, so they're just replacing the seats and everything like that. That's kind of what I figured. I don't know. I'm planning on going opening day, and I will report back to you about that, about initial thoughts. I'm worried that it's going to affect the experience, though. Because something about, once you kind of learned how to deal with the restraints of Skyrush, it was good. And it honestly was that much more terrifying because the sensation of just these little, like, all they do is rest gently on top of your thighs if you're not messing with anything. Because I know everybody has a habit of, like, grabbing onto stuff, and as soon as you make it over the lift hill and some downward force is applied, you immediately bring your lap bar down on your own thighs. So if that's not going to be possible any longer, that's good. You know, thigh crush is no longer a thing. But there was also when you didn't do that and you just let it go and didn't touch anything, and you learn to like sit back, or to sit forward when they're doing the checks, and then you sit back and you have a bit of a gap. It always makes you feel like you're about to get flung out. And I know it's not actually possible, but the sensation doesn't go away of like some part of your brain thinking that you're going to just get flung out of your seat. I'm going to miss that a little bit, honestly, if that's what they've removed. Because there was nothing quite like that first drop and a couple of other elements, but we'll see. I think for like the general population, it makes sense, but what do I know? Trying to interpret this wonderful art here. What are you? It's supposed to go in there, and it looks like what it looked like. Oh, this. Oh boy. So yeah, Skyrush, supposedly it's going to be ready opening day, but that, I don't know. I'm not sure. It could be open, it could be ready. I hope it's ready. I don't know. Another one I hope is ready for opening day is Iron Menace at Dorney. That would be cool. Speaking of Dorney, though, I was looking at their events for the year, and there's no Carnival anywhere. I've also heard just Carnival in general, where they are going to bring it back like at King's Dominion for 3 weeks, that they're not going to be doing any other entertainment. Dorney instead is doing Summer Nights, which is supposed to be some sort of like Latin Caribbean themed thing, which I don't know what to make of it. It'll be interesting. It's interesting to hear because I guess they're doing some new things. I think their general manager is the same, but now this time of year is when everybody's starting to get calls about, performing from the different entertainers that I know about. It seems like not a lot of people got called back for Dorney or for not Carowinds, for King's Dominion. So I'm a little concerned about that and what to expect, because most of these performers are still pretty young in their careers, so it's like tough to, like, where else do you go if you're not finding other work? I am not sure. Where else do you go if you've been doing amusement parks for a few years? Because normally what I've seen the trajectory is like most of them will start performing at cruise lines. Yeah, the entertainers, the performers at the parks. Um, excuse me. Most of them, they start out at like a smaller park or one of these like Cedar Fair or something, and then from there they're able to do like either some sort of tour or a cruise line or something like that. Some of them have ended up in Orlando at like either Tampa at Busch Gardens or Disney World or Universal. I haven't seen many that actually go to SeaWorld. SeaWorld seems to be mostly full of performers that go back and forth between Universal and SeaWorld, which is interesting. I see a lot of them pick up shifts at both of them. I have been playing with this for like 10 minutes. What are you? Come on, buddy. What, are you okay? Get it together, little tiny piece of wood. Oy, oy, oy. What coaster are you most excited for this year? This is like the year of the boomerangs, and it's kind of like got me down a little bit because when I think of boomerangs, whether it's the family ones or whatever you want to categorize Top Thrill 2 as, I just see poor capacity and it being a pain to ride to like actually get on these things. Cause why? I don't know why this is such a popular option. You literally have to wait at the station for the entire cycle to happen, for the entire ride to happen, for them to get back. And usually there's no unloading at a different like specific station to unload while the next one gets up. So throughput is usually not the best either. It's just, it is what it is, I guess. So like right now, because I did go on Emperor last year, which is very similar to Iron Menace. Right now, that's got some of my hype, especially because it's close by and I know the PR team, so I'll hopefully be able to get on that either in a preview or like earlier. I'm hoping to be able to get on that as early as possible. I missed a part. I missed a piece. But yeah, I think that the throughput on Top Thrill is going to be pretty bad. So I don't know. I'm not terribly excited about it. I'm still going to go check it out. I'm probably going to go in like July and check that out. If it's open by then, hopefully. But I assume, I haven't actually looked up what the opening date is expected to be for that one. But if there was anything I was excited about that I will be able to go on, it's probably between Iron Menace and then up at Great Escape getting onto Bobcat. Just because those Gravity Group roller coasters are a lot of fun. I think that one is full scale too, right? It's not like a little guy like Wooden Warrior or something like that. Which, if you haven't been on Wooden Warrior, that is a fun one. Or if you don't know that one, maybe Oscar's Wacky Taxi in that realm, like the little family style one. Those are great. So I'm really curious about how Bobcat is. Like, one cool thing though is, at least on social media, Great Escape has been really good about providing updates, and they look like they're having a great time. They're really excited. Is this the first built from the ground up coaster? I feel like almost all of them. The last time I was there was to ride the bobsleds. So I'm trying to think, is there, without looking up RCDB, testing the memory here, have all the coasters at Great Escape been like from other parks? Were there any built from the ground up? I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. I can't think of one from the top of my head. Maybe their Arrow coaster was? Is that an original to the park? Because I know Comet wasn't. And then their like Mine Train definitely wasn't. And I know the bobsleds weren't before that closed. So yeah, I do not know off the top of my head, believe it or not. I am definitely not one of those people that know all the coaster facts off the top of my head. I like to reference things. But yeah, for new for this year, those are probably my two. Like, I'm not even super excited about the Flash roller coaster because that one is another one that's just a boomerang, just a big family boomerang. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why those were so popular back in the day, like the old school boomerangs, and I don't know why this is like a trend again. Is it the price, maybe? Like, just adding a new roller coaster doesn't do it if you're gonna try to add capacity to your park. Like, sure, it's marketable, but I wonder if that has more to do with the leadership at Six Flags currently, that type of decision. Because they aren't exciting roller coasters. They're nothing that anybody's going to talk about. And they keep using the DC license to name their roller coasters, which I still think is very lame. Because then they can't really merchandise it that well. And therefore you lose out on a whole bunch of money. I mean, the top 5 within the park, we'll see. We'll see. There's not too many that really break. Like, there's not a strong top 5. There's a strong top 4, I would say. I'm trying to think. Like, most everyone in their top 4 is going to be non-DC named rides. So Kingda Ka, El Toro, Jersey Devil, and Nitro. I don't know what you would put in number 5 from after that. Medusa? Honestly, Medusa's probably strong. That would be my top 5 there. And they have how many coasters? 14? Something like that? So, yeah, I could realistically see it being in top 5, but excuse me, for its place in the park, the location it's getting, the type of ride it is, I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't put a high capacity coaster right at the beginning of the park because that's where most people start their day. They don't plan and say, oh, I'm going to go to the back of the park, when most people, you know, are just going to stop at the very first ride they see and say, oh, let's go on this one, without looking at the wait time and just, you know, not planning at all, which is crazy to me, but that's how people do things. So, by the way, we're on page 2. Let's show you the progress so far, because this has been a lot of, like, I feel like this isn't really secured. Listen, Kim, honestly, I am a terrible content creator due to the fact that I forget that people don't do parks like we do. Like Kim, she will go to Disneyland for one day, get the content she needs, have herself a great time, and go back. And like, she knows where to go and how to plan her day and stuff, and like how to make the best use of her time. Whereas some people, they'll spend $5,000 on a Disney World vacation and not know what Genie Plus is and look up anything like that. Or they, like, for instance, my friends visiting from out of state wanting to go to Great Adventure, and they're like, oh, I want to go on El Toro. I'm like, it's closed right now. Did you not look up anything about the park before coming out? Yeah, so like, if I had more of that mentality of like, here's all the information that you need, I could probably have more subscribers because I'd be communicating to the people who don't really prepare the way that we do. So I've been thinking actually at some point of just making a website to be like a resource for people, because I feel like that stuff is best communicated that way because you can copy paste it in other places. But then again, everybody digests information differently, so who knows. But either way, I am surprised, but also not, when people do not look at wait times or anything like that. What is this piece that I'm looking at? It just went from that to whatever the heck this is. What are you, buddy? What are you? Aha. I got it. I think I got it. But anyway, yeah, I feel like it's a weird, You're going to Disney this summer. How does the whole Fast Pass work? Well, now it's Genie Plus, not Fast Pass, and they're called Lightning Lanes. And because I use the DAS Pass, I haven't really learned much about the new one. Uh, I hope and I believe that there's changes coming soon to that whole thing. There's a new Genie Plus, like a revision coming out, but I believe that's supposed to coincide with when the new Tiana ride opens up. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kim is the expert here. I have kind of dropped off on Disney in general, just because I didn't vibe with it the last time I went. It felt off to me. It felt so off. I don't know how to describe it. The vibes were off. And I enjoyed my time at Disneyland, but there's something about, like, how can I say, like, I feel like Disney used to be better at hiding the fact that they're a big, greedy corporation. And so I kind of rolled with it and was okay with it, but now I feel less and less okay with it. But also, that's not to say, and not me trying to discourage you from having a good time. I just, after having gone frequently enough to see everything, like, what was left was not as fun, because you've seen how prices have increased and the complexity of planning has become more and more difficult. Yeah, the 50th was, I could talk for a while about how they messed up the 50th. Yeah, as far as like the business side of all of that goes, they have not been doing well. And as far as prioritizing the guest experience, that hasn't been going well. I've seen just friends that have gone for their first time in a while, just they don't have any plans to go back anytime soon, because they spent all this money. And I think this was last year, a friend went for her birthday, and it was a rough day. She went to Hollywood Studios, and Tower of Terror was closed, Rock and Roller Coaster was down, Rise of the Resistance was down, and I think one other ride was down. And it's like, what do you do when there's only like 12 attractions in that park? All right, they're charging a premium price for a moderate experience, and everybody else is waiting in the wings to take up their spot, because they've been dropping the ball, and they have no one to blame but themselves if they lose, their very big piece of the pie, which they're about to do most likely to Universal. We'll see. Like, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Universal's about to destroy Disney. We'll see. They've been doing well, but then they also have stinkers like Fast and the Furious, so I don't know. Oh, dude, I do not judge you for going to Disney. Like, I'm just, as soon as I get the opportunity to, it's tough for me to convey, like, how much of a bummer it was for me. Other people have had perfectly good times. So, I think one of the big things with Universal is how, was it the year prior in 2022 when the stats came out, that they crept up in terms of annual attendance. So actually seeing that effect of them taking market share from Disney. So it's already begun. Especially now with the other announcements of like the mini parks to kind of spread things around. But again, we'll see. But sorry, Starlet, that was such a tangent. But it is because that the new Fast Pass called Genie Plus is pretty confusing. At the moment, what I know about it is that it can only be bought at like 7 a.m. initially, or maybe it can be bought at midnight, but then you can only start making your selections. Excuse me. You can only start making your selections at 7, and a lot of the good stuff gets taken pretty quickly. So it's like a day of thing. Instead of when you were staying on property beforehand, you would get at least 3 selections each day. Now I believe that that's already gone, and so they don't let you make any ride reservations ahead of time. The member preview, there's a member preview? I wasn't aware of that. The only thing I saw was like a preview for the water park. I know I'll be there opening day. But yeah, Starlit. So they have that, and then they have like the pay per ride for like certain. They have the most popular attractions are either virtual queue with boarding groups, or they have an individual lightning lane that you have to pay extra for. So I don't know the pricing because it's variable now, depending on how busy the day is. Genie Plus can cost anywhere from $20 to $30, I think, and I think. Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, we saw as high as like 35 during the Christmas season because, you know, that's when the peak crowds are there. And then that's just for lightning lanes, or for Genie Plus to be able to reserve lightning lanes for all the rides that aren't the top tier. And the top tier rides are stuff like Avatar Flight of Passage. At Magic Kingdom, I assume one of them is Tron. I don't know the other one, but I believe there's two there. Probably a Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And then at Hollywood Studios, I assume it's Rise and one other. But like that's how they do it. So like you can pay, in addition to what you paid for Genie Plus, the base Genie Plus, you can buy an individual lightning lane for like another $20. And all of this is to say that most people that are going for like your typical family once in a while trip have to set aside another like $300 to $400 just so that they can have the same experience that you might have had back when FastPass was a thing. So that's kind of like the net result of all of that silliness. They just want your money. They don't care how they get it. So per guest spending goes up and less people go. They haven't officially announced it yet, but usually it's the week before opening. Okay, yeah, well, if they do, whenever they announce it, I will keep an eye out. If they do have a member preview, I'll definitely be there because that would be awesome. I want to see whatever the updates are with Iron Menace, and hopefully we hear more about like an actual opening date for that. That would be nice. But the Skyrush restraints, I will definitely... Are you going to go opening day? Because I'm definitely going to try to do that. And fingers crossed. They tease that it might be ready opening day, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. There's a little I don't even know what I'm building here. This is what I made so far. Eventually that's going to go with this thing, but I don't know. But to update you, we've made this so far. I made the little thing that all of this is going to go on top of later. And then I have this. So yeah. Hooray. And I just realized I put this on upside down. So go me. Oop, I feel a sneeze coming on. Whew. All right. I'm trying to think of other coasters that are coming. Oh gosh, you guys probably know about the. Thank you, Charlotte. What's it? Oh my gosh, Good Gravy at Holiday World. Kim, have you heard about Good Gravy? Because if not, you should Google it and look at the ride vehicles that they designed for it. They're literally gravy boats, and it's spectacular. It's at a park called Holiday World, and it's in their Thanksgiving area. So at Holiday World, all the different lands are themed to different holidays. So they have a Halloween one, a 4th of July one, a Christmas one, and a Thanksgiving one. And I'm just going to keep going. The Thanksgiving one has an Astro Blasters Buzz Lightyear type of ride, but instead you're shooting at turkeys with a turkey color gun. And man, it was a trip. That was amazing. I wish I could have gotten like a POV of it or something like that. But in that area, they're gonna add a roller coaster named Good Gravy. That I'm in no rush to ride it because it seems like a pretty simple family coaster, so it's not like, oh my gosh. It's just eventually when I go back there so I can ride Thunderbird because it was down when I went to Hollywood Nights. I'm excited to get a photo of that roller coaster or some footage of it as well, because who doesn't love a good themed roller coaster? Speaking of that, though, I was surprised that some people are really convinced that the Wonder Woman single rail coaster out at Magic Mountain is superior to the Jersey Devil coaster one. And I base this mainly on the front car because there's almost nothing between them except for the operations and the front car being amazing for Jersey Devil coaster and the front car for Wonder Woman just very plain with a W Wonder Woman logo on it. And that's it. The bucket list of parks this year. Oh, where are you going to go? Okay, so are you going to try to go to all four of these? Because Holiday World, Kings Dominion, yes, absolutely. Six Flags New England, I wouldn't dedicate much time to. It's a good one-day park. Holiday World, though, so good. You can tell that they're like independent, family-owned, and they really care about what they're doing. Kings Dominion is okay. They seem to be backing out on entertainment a lot, but they definitely have a good coaster collection there, in my opinion, although I feel like I-305 does a lot of the heavy lifting. Carowinds I have not been to yet, and I can't wait to go someday. They're another park that seems to really care about what they're doing, and I always appreciate that vibe, that energy. All right. You're going to Six Flags America on purpose? What's become of that park? That poor park. I know that they're doing like that whole new area, but you know, they still have Mindbender there, and that thing is pain. Batwing, it runs sometimes and it's fun. Oh, okay, so you're stopping at King's Dominion while you're doing Busch Gardens Williamsburg. That makes sense. Honestly, their Halloween and Christmas event I think are superior to the Busch Gardens one. In every way. They feel bigger, they feel like more like they hit you over the head with everything. I really like it more so. But their regular day-to-day operations are pretty much the same. I would say obviously Busch Gardens does have the superior roller coasters, so that's for sure. But at Kings Dominion, you're going to be able to get on Twisted Timbers and I-305, which are amazing roller coasters. And I don't know if they've done any more retracking to Grizzly, but definitely get on Grizzly. I know a lot of people say that it's rough. They've retracked, I think, half to three-quarters of it. And honestly, it's up there for me. Like, it was a really good, smooth ride for that retracked area compared to having ridden on it previously before the retrack, which it was just night and day. But the rest of the coasters there, I mean, Racers, okay. If you've been at the one on Kings Island, that one's superior. They have Apple's Apple or something like that. They have their Wild Mouse. That's okay. They have their own Flight of Fear, which is okay. The 4D spinning coaster ain't too bad. It's a different model you spin a little bit faster there, so that one's pretty good. I'm trying to think what else is there. They do have a pretty decent collection of flat rides that are very similar to Dorney's. Some of the food locations though are pretty good. Honestly, they probably have improved over the last few years. Kings Dominion has probably improved their theming and food the most, I would say. The Jungle X area is, I think, 2 or 3 years old, and it's such a big improvement over whatever was there prior. I'm having trouble remembering what that was, but overall, they're starting to incrementally improve certain areas, and that Jungle X thing was really good. Oh, the other roller coaster I forgot about was their bobsled coaster. That one is super unique. I think it might be the only one in existence now. So definitely check that out. Just to be able to say you've ridden on something like that. let's see, Six Flags America gets less love than Dorney Park. Dude, it is like the forgotten one in the Six Flags chain, which is so crazy to me because you would think being near Baltimore and DC is like it would mean that there's lots of crowds going to that area and it would be very popular and it would mean it would get more investment, but for some reason it's always been kind of like running at like 75%. It doesn't always have the most uptime. It's not always staffed well. It's like takes long to get things done in that park. The last time I was there, I just did a quick lap around and it felt pretty empty. And even still, you know, everybody was taking their time trying to get stuff done in that park. The food ops were slow. The ride ops were kind of slow. Like everything felt like it was at a different pace. And I don't know. And I have no idea if that's what contributes to them not like bringing people in. The park also just seems like it has a low capacity in general. Superman, Joker's Jinx are solid. Better than Knoebels. The food at Kings Dominion, no. I mean, Knoebels is in a tier by itself when it comes to food. There's no comparing it to anything. Like Knoebels is here. Everybody else is just trying to get halfway as good as them. But Kings Dominion at least has added variety. There is one food location that you should check out that's in the Jungle X area. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it has a very like almost Adventureland Jungle Cruise type of theme. And it's where you can get like brisket and prime rib and stuff like that. That one, I've eaten there a couple of times now, and it's never disappointed. Starlit, I went to Fiesta and Dollywood last year. You were very impressed with both. The people are awesome at Dollywood. Dollywood is probably one of the highest that I need to get out to, but I keep making trips out to like Orlando and California that I feel like this year is probably the year I'm going to try to focus on doing like a San Antonio Fiesta, Texas, and SeaWorld San Antonio thing and just make a weekend out of that. And then try to do a road trip, which I canceled last year because, what's it called? Fury 325 broke. I was all set to do a road trip where I was going from Carowinds down to Atlanta and doing Six Flags Over Georgia and what's it called? I forgot the one that just had the new Raptor put in there, the single rail coaster. Why can't I think of the name? The Fun Spot Atlanta. There it is. And then from there, it's like these three locations: Dollywood, Carowinds, and Six Flags Over Georgia make a nice like triangle, and it's 4 hours in between each of them. But yeah, I canceled that because there was no point in going to the Carowinds if there was only going to be every ride but Fury 325. Like that's their big one and the one that I definitely need to go on. I have been ignoring my poor little coaster thingy here. What is next? Your only gripe with Fiesta is that they open attractions at random times throughout the day. Poltergeist didn't open until 6. You mean like 6 p.m.? Wow. That's wild. I wonder why it would take them that long. And that's just how they are in general? Huh. And yeah, that's the road trip I had in mind. I mean, I know people who are going out to Silver Dollar City from New Jersey, and they're driving just the whole way, no problem. It's crazy, but it's what the Thuzies do, no problem. And I don't mind road tripping. I love road tripping, honestly. It's a lot of fun. Driving through these crazy unknown areas, although speaking of, like, obviously 95 isn't the most exciting thing to drive, especially when I go down to like Kings Dominion, Busch Gardens. And the drive down to Busch Gardens, like on that one highway, isn't the most exciting because there's a whole lot of nothing, just forest. But those areas look way different than driving through the mountains in, let's say, Pennsylvania, going out to like Pittsburgh and stuff. Like the way the environment changes is still interesting to me. You went twice on the weekend, it was better. So, yeah. Gotcha. Alright, let me try to play catch up a little on this thing. Where's the other piece that I need? There it is. You're in PA, so it would add a couple more hours. Yeah, for sure. Like, you would have to actually get to the location that you're going to and then drive back. That's why I forgot to mention that I would be renting a car. So I would start at one of those places and then finish at one and then fly out, drop off the car and fly out of there. Yeah, because just getting to Carowinds from PA would probably be, what, like 7 to 8 hours or something like that. It would be a lot. Uh-oh, come on. There it goes. Are any of you going to get a brick at Great Adventure? I'm contemplating it. I think I should get one. I feel it would be fitting. It's just a little, it's a touch expensive, in my opinion. Like this. Off the top of my head, I think it was $150. Speaking of expensive, though, have you guys seen the prices for the Great Adventure, what do they call it? The, like, safari resort that they got? Pricey. It's a 2-night minimum. And I think the cheapest I saw it was like $600 or something like that. You should, but you probably won't. Yeah. I don't know either. I feel like it's a lot, and maybe I just need to put out lots of videos so I can make enough money to afford one just based off of that, based off of the ad revenue, because the shorts have been doing pretty well. Hey there. $1,700 for that, like, good grief. Also, I do a terrible job at this. I've been going on for an hour, but if you can help me out and, like, throw a like to the stream so it, like, goes out and gets served to other people so they can come in and help me raise money to get a brick, that would be cool. I am a terrible person when it comes to marketing. I have all this material and all of these videographic skills and apparently the ability to talk for like hours on end, as long as I got some water. But I am terrible at marketing. All right, an update. I've made this. I still don't know what this is. I think it's gonna go like this. So this is just like the underside of what'll eventually go to this seat here. Building Ghost Rider, which was closed. When did I go? It was 2 weeks ago already. I went to Knott's, and yeah, it was down. The prices are more expensive than Animal Kingdom Lodge. Oh yeah, yeah, but you're glamping. Yeah, it's a 2-night minimum. I don't know. I got like the whole blurb and like the videos and stuff from marketing, and they didn't really go into pricing. You have to like go through the website to do that. I was hoping that they would have some sort of special or anything like that, but I don't know who they're marketing that to, you know? I had kind of nudged them, pitched to them, maybe you should do like a photographic type of package or something like that, where, you know, photographer, like they do at Hershey Park. They have like an early night photography pack, or not early night, early in the morning. You can go with your camera and take photos of the animals as they're like getting up and having their first meal of the day, when it's a good opportunity to take photos of them. There should be something like that in existence at the Six Flags Safari, but I don't know. I think they just were like, yeah, okay, and quickly moved on. All right, I have to make the wheels. That's what I'm making. The wheels for this. You have a brick outside Dr. Diabolical at Fiesta Village. Oh, that's cool. Also, like, if I do get a brick, where are they going to put it? They're going to put me, like, somewhere way off to the side, and it's going to be sad and alone by itself. I'm going to ask people to go visit my brick, make sure it's not too lonely. 'Cause that's how I remember walking through, like, Disneyland and seeing the bricks and being just like, man, imagine being the person who's near the bathrooms or, like, you know, in some other inopportune spot. Like, that would stink. Okay. 4. Trying to punch these out. It's like, oh, I dropped it. I don't know what exactly I'm making. The eventual goal is the coaster cutout that I showed you. This guy. Eventually, I will have this. Eventually. But so far, I think I'm making like the wheels or something like that. There it is. So I'm just punching stuff out of here. I didn't even know Dr. Diabolical did bricks. I don't know. And I don't feel like it's, I could write that off as a marketing expense, getting a brick at Great Adventure. I want them to do well, but we'll see what happens with all the merger stuff. Because I have stock in both Six Flags and Cedar Fair, and they're like turning into a different company for a second. And then the value is changing, but I don't know. I'm just holding on to my stock. I already voted and in favor of the merger, because honestly, that just means it'll be done with. They're going to do it no matter what my little votes say. I only have like 20 shares of each. Oh, Fiesta Texas 30th. Got it. What you got? Well, oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it was. I appreciate you saying hi. You know, it's always tough when because meeting people in person is always different than, you know, digitally, or it can be. And you guys were very kind and always had nice things to say, so I appreciate that too. So whatever energy I get, that's what I try to give back, you know. A reasonable price for the all parks pass. I'm sure they're going to have like 2 tiers or something like that. I am sure it's not going to be as bad as we think. But rarely are these giant mergers good for the consumer. Rarely. It's just so people who are already wealthy can make even more money. Because, like, this is classic, I forgot the guy's name, but the guy who basically said, like, acquisitions is, like, the best way to make money at the ends of quarters and all that stuff. And that's why you see, like, these business practices that you see now with all the layoffs and all that stuff. It's just a ploy to bump up the stock price. But the stock price doesn't mean anything to you or I. The guest experience means everything. Oh, I put this on backwards. Son of a monkey. That's the thing that bothers me about this, is a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Salim was so good for Six Flags, you know? Look at the stock price. I'm like, stock price means nothing. What have they actually done? Numbers go up and down, but all I see when I go to the park is cutbacks. A lot of cutbacks. So, like, what have you actually done, you know? And the crazy thing is, I remember some guy from PR told me that Salim watched like YouTubers obsessively, like trying to get feedback and ideas and try to see what things, you know, what the pulse is on things. I wonder, that's how he ended up, I think, on Collywood's doing that interview and all that stuff, which I don't know if you guys have seen that interview where Colin interviewed Salim, but I don't know. That was kind of rough, in my opinion. Cool to do, but It felt more like a marketing video than anything else. The only thing you need to know about stocks is that the value is all made up. It doesn't truly affect us, but it also does affect us, mostly because of greed. But materially, it doesn't mean a lot to us. Just like how a lot of economists say, "Oh, look at the stock market; it's doing great. That means the economy is doing great." But meanwhile, there's a lot of people that are either unemployed or underemployed, or you have homelessness on the rise. You have a whole bunch of people struggling, but the economists are like, "But look, the number's going up." Oh no, like Colin, he's still a kid. He's having a good time making videos. There's no disrespect there. I think that to have an opportunity like he had would have been cool to be able to ask something with a little meat to it rather than it being kind of, I don't know, fluffy. It felt like a fluffy video, like just ho hum, come here and flex your stuff. Show us how good you are. But what I see with Salim is that he doesn't know theme parks. It's like he doesn't actually go to the parks like and try to experience them for himself. And he probably should. He probably should. And not with, CEO privilege, but try to experience those parks, all of them, as a typical guest. Like, it's kind of crazy that with him, Great Adventure ended up going like a year and a half without a park president. That's crazy to me. Those types of things just shouldn't happen, but writing was on the wall and the previous park president got out. I have not met the new one though. He seems like he gives me a little bit of hope, coming from a Universal background mostly. Start putting that on backwards again. Almost done. I'm making the stupid, are these upstop wheels, I think? You're still waiting to see what they do with the log flume. Yeah, I know. They got that. They have this derelict parachute drop ride now. And the sky ride, I hope they keep that around, because that is a treasure there. But who knows? Honestly, they should just let me run the park. And it'll go great for them. But you didn't hear that from me. I didn't tell you guys that. It's too early. Still need about 10 years. Yeah, hopefully Dorney. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, honestly, just in general, now that we've been kind of talking about this for like an hour, just the whole vibe of almost all these parks has not been the same since 2019, since the pandemic, basically. They reopened, but so much of it closed. The enthusiasts would do a better job. And honestly, with just a little bit of business know-how and like financing knowledge, like, or financial knowledge, it's not difficult. It's not difficult, but it depends on where your priorities are. Most places are concerned with budgets and they cut back a whole lot, and that's because they have, people up high that they bow down to. But that's why we saw a lot of the changes that we see is budgets. There's no emphasis on guest experience or guest satisfaction, in my opinion. And there's no sense of pride in what they do. Like, if I rolled into Great Adventure and I had some part, or especially a big part in the way that that park ran, I would look at it and be like, no, this is embarrassing. How can we present ourselves this way in terms of like, it's the presentation, right? That's what I'm trying to get at is like, aren't you embarrassed about the way your parks look? Like, maybe it's not in the budget, but find a way to make it better. These parks used to be big on entertainment. They used to have regular concerts and stuff like that, and that's just nowhere to be seen. So the way that they've cut back, they need to figure out why that is. Like, I don't know if that's just going to, C-level salaries and stuff like that, but honestly, something needs to change just about the approach, because right now it's sad. It's so sad to see how deprioritized guest experience has become. A lot more negative attitude and bad behavior of adults. Yep. Oh, I've noticed all of that. Yes to all of that. And that's another big part of it too, is the people. There is a weird, different mentality that, like, I don't know what happened to everybody, but it doesn't feel the same. The guests, the parks, all of it. It's like I'm still trying to recapture that 2019 energy. And gosh, now we're here 5 years later. Bro, guys, like, damn. Wow. I did not think the conversations would go this way, but here we are. This is how it is. Starlet, yes, appearance and entertainment need to improve. We're hoping with the, we'll see. We'll see if it changes. We'll see if how much the merger actually changes anything that's in our favor as guests that go there. I feel like they're just going to want to make more money and find ways to homogenize all the things that have made all the different parks unique, That is the thing that I started to see back in the day, like 2018, 2019, when I first started doing like the content creation, is that I didn't realize how homogenized a lot of the parks had gotten. There was a lot of stuff that was just copy paste. And I know, I get it. It saves money, whatever. But it also robs your park of a unique identity. And I also understand that not too many people are going to different regional parks. So it's probably not being seen by that many people. But either way. It's been sad seeing all the cutbacks and greed throughout the industry. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I feel like Disney is the biggest one in terms of like just not hiding their greed anymore. I know Disney is this massive media company and they're super duper greedy, but they feel like they used to be better at hiding it, and now it's very in your face how much they want to nickel and dime you. And it breaks my heart. Like, it just throws the entire vibe of the parks off. What's my thoughts on King's Dominion having 3 rides closed for over an hour? Those including Drop Tower, Eiffel Tower, and Delirium, but no other parks seem to have a problem with those rides. I wish I could tell you. I don't know about the Eiffel Tower. I wonder if that's a parts related thing. But the Drop Tower and Delirium are really throwing me off. Like, I'm shocked, honestly, that they've been closed for so long. Yeah, I knew what you meant when you said over an hour. It's over a year. Yeah, Hershey Park is solid. I wish, even them, I wish they had more entertainment. But I think all they have is, like not the seal, the water show, the aqua show. I think that's all they have. And Knoebels is good. I feel like that one is hard to box in. It just has this unique like local charm of its own. But I'm saying when you go to like Great Adventure, And knowing how there used to be like 4 or 5 different pretty big shows there, I think I saw Double Dare filming there at one point. Like there were stunt shows, there was diving shows, water shows. Like I see Busch Gardens Williamsburg trying, but it would take more nuance for me to discuss their entertainment quality. I think it's okay. I think it could be much better, but most of the people who put together the shows there come from a technical background. I'm just glad that there is entertainment there, like the Celtic Fire and all that stuff, and the big Globe Theater. Like, thank goodness they actually put stuff in there. I've also heard that they pay pretty terribly though, but that's like industry wide, paying performers so little. Like I saw for Scream Break over at Magic Mountain, which I wish was coming back to Great Adventure. They're paying like $17 for scare actors, 17 an hour. And then I think the sliders and stilt walkers, which are very specialized skills, are only getting paid another $2 an hour more, which is kind of sad. I don't know if there's any entertainment coming for the 50th start. I just knocked one of the supports out for my chair, trying to fix it quickly. There it goes. Well, that was strange. Okay. Oh, we're almost there. We're almost there with this. These directions, though, these are hieroglyphics to me. Like, it's in code. It's so strange. Remember the coffin challenge? Of course I remember the coffin challenge. People really stayed in there for like 30 hours. Oh, man. That was amazing to me. I wish that I had more like media access back in the day, because I would have been all up on that. Polar coaster challenge. You know what is funny? I wanted to do something like that, like a pseudo thing on the last day of operations, and just like PR. Everybody was already off at that point, so there was no doing anything like that. Which, yeah, that was a bummer. All right, I think we're getting there. I'm probably not going to finish this. Not tonight, I don't think. There's just so many, like, look at all these little pieces that all need to turn into, like, wheels and all that, and restraints. Let's see. No wonder some scare actors look bored or unenthusiastic. I feel like there's no training. They, like, throw them in costume and throw them out there, and that's it. Obviously not for the sliders and stilts. You need some sort of safety training or something for that, but for the scare actors in general, I feel like they don't get enough coaching to really do what they are supposed to do and feel like confident in it. And also, like, the guests, like, there's a lot of harassment and a lot of like assault that can happen, and so you need to be able to know how to safeguard yourself from that. So yeah, it's a complicated little thing, but it's tough. It's tough. Not everybody is meant to do stuff like that, and also there's not enough guidance so you can successfully do stuff like that. All right, where are we at here? That thing, and then this thing, and then the other thing. Okay, great. On your first ride on Wildcat, someone was holding their phone up in one hand. On Wildcat's Revenge? That would be insane if that were the case. Ugh. Did they, like, get caught? Like, normally they're pretty good about not allowing people to bring anything on there. That's why they have all the like the locker situation and stuff. Like, I forgot to put my glasses in the locker, and they stopped me. I was like, come on. Okay. So they stopped me, and they made me go all the way back down and push through everybody. Nothing happened to them. That's complete ass, because, you know, what bugs me a lot is when I see that like cell phone footage, and it'll blow up on TikTok, and people will be talking about it and stuff, and it just goes over everybody's head how dangerous and dumb to get that footage was. Like how much danger you put people in just to get your little TikTok. I got this the right way. I got this the right way. Oh my goodness. So I'm still trying to put this wheel assembly together, but this part has to go in here, secure into this, and secure into this. This was, oh boy. This should be interesting. Got one in. Got two in. Done. There we go. We have a wheel assembly, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Yes, bring back the great shows. Too much money was focused on Saw and Conjuring zones at Six Flags. It's so annoying when people have phones out. The dumbest thing. But they spent a lot of money on Saw and The Conjuring, so I'm not surprised that they spent a lot of energy on it. Like that went so well that they want to bring the IPs back. So I think, I forget what the rumor is. I think it was, is it maybe? That's a Warner Brothers, right? There was two. I forgot what the rumor was. I'm pretty sure one was it. And I saw over at Magic Mountain, they're still keeping Saw. Like they improved it or something like that. No, they weren't that good, but that's, and again, this is what we have to remember. The business people aren't looking at it like that. They're looking at how many people got pulled in because they had IPs there. Which is stupid, but that's the truth. Like, in my opinion, I feel like they wasted a good opportunity by spending all that money on IPs and then really falling flat in their execution, because then the guest satisfaction doesn't matter. But on the business side, you forget about that, because as long as you brought them in the door, that doesn't, like, you have their money, it doesn't matter after that. Which I think ignores a big thing, is that people talk and spread the news that, oh, hey, they had this stuff. It was like a 3-hour wait and it was totally not worth it. Like, so the consequences are delayed, but the money making is not. So it's very, very sad. All right, something is happening here. I don't know what. Oh, is this whole thing going in here? Is that what's happening? Am I sticking this? This doesn't fit in here. Oh no, this is the where your feet go. All right, I'm trying to join this all together. Oh, I just hear squeaky wood noises right now. Doo-doo. I think it's good now. I think it's good now. Cool. All right, here we are. This is what we got now. And all the wheels in the back here. All right, how long's it been? We're gonna go for like another 10 minutes. Let's wrap this up around 9:30, I think. In the next 5 years, Toro will need a full retrack just like T-Express. Yes, yes. They can't keep doing the Band-Aid method. No, you know what happened is that all of the people that had all that institutional knowledge made their recommendations. Salim came in, a lot of them left. They were being ignored. I know of one person who had been there for a while and just said, like, it was getting too dangerous. They were doing the bare minimum and they ended up leaving. So, yeah, lots of institutional knowledge lost, ignored. A lot of the people that have been there doing the bare minimum. And what do? You give your star attraction bad rap. It's embarrassing to me to see that. Why none of the people involved with the budgets and all that stuff were embarrassed themselves? I don't know. But they weren't. They weren't at all. That's mystifying to me. Like, there's owners, but no sense of ownership in any of that. Hey, I finished this one. There's nothing else to punch out. They fired a lot of people, a lot of good people, a lot of people that had been there for a long time. A lot of others left. And then, if I remember right, they did so much reshuffling with all of the departments and stuff like that, and it was rather boneheaded. It didn't make sense to me. Like, what did they do at Great Adventure that was really confusing? It was entertainment and marketing combined. And you have somebody who's never done any sort of entertainment running the entertainment. And that's gone as well as you'd think it could. And then I think they backtracked on that, and now it's just even more of a mess to try to undo the things that you sloppily did. Is all very strange. But if I've learned anything in the last few years, it's that there are people who care and who have ideas and who want to make things as good as possible, but they're not the ones in charge. They're not the ones who get the resources to see their vision through. But I respect the energy and effort that has gone into a lot of the stuff that we see. Like, honestly, from what I've learned, Fright Fest is put together by a very small group of people who are there overnight for many nights in a row. And by small, I mean maybe a dozen or so. Maybe a little bit more. And same thing with, like, Scream Break and stuff like that. Like, there's some people there that care. And I always have my fingers crossed that people like that, with that kind of energy, will find success and keep moving up until they're eventually in charge. And yes, 2 tickets. Safety should never be half-assed. Yet here we are, where how long was El Toro actually closed for? For almost 2 years or something like that. It was to me, it's embarrassing. I don't know how owners and CEOs felt about it. Like, your roller coaster, one of your premier roller coasters should not be in the news for the reasons it is. Trying to get the lap bars in right now. Oh, it's making angry sounds at me. All right, we got some restraints in now. We're getting there. Oh, the second accident was awful. No, El Toro at this point just needs a retrack. It just needs a retrack. It needs a full makeover. It's to me, it's not been the same, sadly. Not been the same. Come on. Come on. Oh, that didn't do it. Oof. Well, I guess that's in. But anyway, I feel like we've been pretty negative about stuff, or not negative. I say maybe there's some more exciting, happy things we can talk about rather than our disappointment in the current state of things. Because I agree, and I'm there with you. But also, there's new things on the way, and it helps. It's nice. Did you guys see Made to Thrill? They made some posters for Great Adventure. That's pretty cool. Although they're very expensive. I think they're $50 rather than the usual $35 that I've seen at Cedar Fair. Thank goodness I have a discount, and it will make it somewhat similarly priced. It's just nice to see that they actually are on board with that. And one of the reasons why I'm surprised that they keep naming stuff after DC characters, because they could market and merchandise the unique coasters without that. Yeah, very excited for that. I'm so excited for the Monsters Land and the How to Train Your Dragon Land. Like, I am so excited for that. That's going to be epic. Although I don't, still the names, Universal's Epic Universe just seems strange as a name choice, but what do I know? I don't have billions to build theme parks. So who am I to judge? I actually have some of those behind me here. I have the Back to the Future, Big Thunder. I got Mystic Timbers over here, and then down in the corner I have Millennium Force. And I'm just noticing one of mine fell. Give me 1 second here. Oh, please don't tell me the glass broke. No, it's okay. I have this one, the Voyage, from when I went to Hollywood Nights, but I need to hang that up again. The tape is all messed up. Oh yeah, Bobcat. Yeah, I was talking about that one earlier. I'm pretty stoked for that one. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Let's see. Got this. Pointed down. This. Could we actually get this done in like the next 5 minutes? I wonder. Alright. That's done. Next up. Let's see. That. Okay. Oh, wait. Interesting. I have only been to Nintendo Land for a little bit. When I went, it was mainly for, what's it called? For Horror Nights. So I was there just for a few hours beforehand. And both times I just wanted to ride the Mario Kart ride, and it closed. It broke down. The 2 times, like, literally the first time I was in the queue, the second time I was in the pre-show, and yeah, I left both times to line up for the, they don't call it Stay and Scream over there, but like to get in line early for the houses. So yeah, just barely missed it. Just barely. Is it in there? Is it good? Oh, shoot. I put this on upside down. Come on out. Like this. Okay, that's in. All right. I'm making another one of these little things here. Oh yeah, that was such bad luck. What you gonna do? That's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes, as hard as you try, the universe just says, not today. That was on 2 separate days, so it said, not this visit, not this week. Sorry, buddy. Try again later. I'll get on it eventually. I'm not too fussed about that. It's definitely not going anywhere. But that also meant that I didn't have time for anything else. Like the power band stuff, any of that. I didn't get to do any of that. I did get to eat at the Toadstool Cafe, which, you know, was a life-changing experience, you know. Toad himself made food for me, which, you know, that was... How many people can say that? Apparently a lot of people, because holy smokes was it packed in there. Oh man, and we waited a minute for all of that stuff. We waited a while. I went with Jamie and another and a friend Sammy. It was a lot. I think all in all it took like an hour. The food wasn't bad though. The food wasn't bad. Am I still photographing jobs? So right now, other than like the odd like portrait shoot, since the parks aren't really operating, I haven't been doing too much of that. Which, mind you, I still haven't even, like, I'm doing things the wrong way. Like, I've just been getting random jobs from entertainment companies, and that's good, but it's also inconsistent. So I need to actually put together a portfolio site and like actually do that whole thing like for real. Take it a little more seriously. And then I'm sure I'll be in better shape in terms of the amount of work. Like I would like to do like pet photography. I know that would be a lot of fun for me, especially with dogs. I love dogs. And then just portraits in general. But I need some sort of actual web presence of just, here's my photography, here's my rates, you know, here's how to connect with me. I didn't do that, so I should. I really should. Oh, don't tell me these are different sizes. Oh, these are different sizes. I messed up. I gotta undo all this. We're so close to finishing this. I didn't think this would be possible. But here we are. Let's see. I mean, I am looking forward to when all the parks are open again, and you know, I can find more work like that, because that was a lot of fun last year. That was a lot of fun. And now I have a bit of a repertoire built up, you know. The only thing I have noticed is that it's kind of a pain, like finance-wise. Do you ever get concerned you have to jump from job to job? Not really. I think that especially nowadays, it's probably for the best that you are the one who's in control, especially with the way like the business world, the tech world, and all that stuff has been. It's I think just building rapport and getting some places you can get a 1099 from, that's probably the best way to go right now. Sadly. I think it puts you in the driver's seat rather than doing, you know, typical office job and stuff like that. That can be a little more uneven when people are constantly getting laid off and stuff like that. Let's see. This needs to go like this in the front here. How does this actually join up? Let's see. This is like this. There's that. Then we flip this over. Haha, I figured it out. There's that. So what was this? It looks like it's done, I think. Yes? Maybe? I think I'm done. Hey, little king. Oh, you're a graphic designer? So do you do, like, independent work, or you're doing work for, like, one specific company? Because like what I've noticed, especially with my main job, which is in science, is that there's a lot of contract work that used to be full-time work. A lot of companies just aren't paying as much as they used to. And so right now, between YouTube, photography, and all that, I'm just barely getting by. But the main thing is that even if I had a lucrative science job, it would be very inconsistent. Just like I got out of a contract, and when I tell you, it's surprising to see like associate director and like director level types of jobs being a contract, so you don't get full benefits or anything like that. Things have changed a lot. And I was like 6 or 7 years deep into my science career when all of that shifted. And they want warm bodies that they can just throw, when they need the capacity, and then drop here's some money, and drop them as soon as they don't need them. Because it's cheaper that way. That's how they save money. Alrighty. Here we go. We're going to wrap up this live in a second, but first, here is the big reveal. What we built. It is the Ghost Rider coaster cutout. Very nice. It came together. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and put this back here. Looks great. Keep it right there. Maybe someday I'll actually paint it or something like that. That might be cool. But yeah, guys, I think it's been awesome talking to y'all. You know where to find me if you ever want to reach out. It's on here, or Instagram, or email. If you ever want to like actually ask me where I'm going to be and meet up or anything like that, let me know. But thanks so much for joining here. I hope you have a great night. Hope you guys are having fun preparing and planning for this year, whatever trips you have going on. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a good night. Bye.